So many self-publishing platforms, so little time, man. I've talked about a lot over the past weeks, and you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, that's got to be it, right? You're thinking, there's no more self-publishing avenues, but believe it or not, there are tons more self-publishing avenues. But I, I just believe that you should know all the options that are out there. And we're going to talk about two other platforms in the aggregate self-publishing space. One of them is Streetlib, which is based in Italy, and Tablo, based in Australia. You're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to today's podcast for more details. What's happening is Dale here, and I just want to tell you that today is brought to you in part by the Fantasy Author Giveaway. Look, folks, we are searching for fantasy authors. So if you're a fantasy author, we want you. This is part of the Book Rescue finale for season 1. If you're not familiar with that, by the way, go over to bookrescueshow.com and you're going to thank me after that. But with the Fantasy Author Giveaway, if you're a fantasy author, you're wanting to reach more people than ever before, come on over and join this gigantic group promo giveaway. We've brought in some amazing sponsors and contributors that we are reaching over 300,000 readers right now as it is. We are looking for 100 authors in total, and we're up to about 50 right now. Author registration deadline is February the 28th. The reader giveaway begins on March the 15th and ends on April 15th, and you should see a substantial bump in your readership. Alrighty, let's go further forward. Let's talk about Streetlib and Tablo. I mean, why is it that we're talking about this? We've talked about all the other viable options. These two avenues are still frequently brought up. In fact, they actually come with an excellent rating with the Alliance of Independent Authors watchdog list. And they're actually both partners. Now, if you're not familiar with Ally, that's totally understandable. It's a nonprofit organization that's run by indie authors for indie authors. And so their watchdog list is a list put together telling people about certain products, services, or websites and letting them know how they measure up to their ethical codes, excuse me. But either way, it's all that to say this, they both have excellent ratings. So they're definitely worth talking about. And, so spoiler alert, are they legit? Yeah, absolutely. Tableau and Streetlib will have to be legit in order for Ally to actually give their stamp of approval. Now, when authors are looking for an alternative to Amazon and other platforms, so let's just say, for instance, you saw Drafted Digital, you saw Smashwords, maybe you saw Published Drive, you saw Ingram Spark, but you still didn't see something that you were looking for. You were like, I really want something different. Well, these are two very different self-publishing platforms. In fact, I would say Tableau compares a lot more closely to something like Published Drive. Let's start out with Streetlib. Streetlib actually has what's called a revenue share, or if you hear me say rev share from this point on, you'll know exactly what I mean. They take a percentage of the net profits that they do. So because it's an aggregate publishing model, they're publishing your book on your behalf to numerous other platforms. They collect all of the earnings that come from each one of those, and they just take that percentage. And I'm going to talk about that percentage in each one of these specific publication iterations here shortly. Now, Tableau, again, they're similar to Published Drive in that they have an annual subscription fee. Published Drive has a monthly subscription fee, but Tableau has an annual subscription fee. There's no revenue share, though. So that's the nice thing, is you just pay once, you're set. That's it. They give you ISBNs that's provided to you. Now, I just want to be clear, though. I did a little bit of digging, and unfortunately, I have not published to either one of these platforms. So I had to kind of just do a lot of research on this one. I'm not entirely sure who the imprint goes to on the ISBN. Is this one of those cases that they provide an ISBN to you with their imprint on it? Or do they give you an ISBN and you're allowed to have your imprint? Either way, it just brings up a good question. If they're giving this to you for free or with this specific fee that you're paying, then will you have the imprint? So would love some answers, Tableau. If you happen to be watching or listening, I'd like to hear from you. Now, here's what they offer on each one of the platforms because they're pretty unique. Streetlib offers ebooks, print books, and audiobooks, whereas Tableau just offers ebooks and print books. Now, remember I said it's kind of a subscription-based thing. So if you're looking to publish an ebook, it's $99 per year. If you're looking to do a paperback book, it's $299 per year. And if you're looking to do hardcover, that comes in at $499 per year. Think about these prices. Now, you're probably saying automatically, nope, don't want to hear it, Dale. I've heard enough. I've got to spend money. It sounds like a scam. No, it's not a scam. They're essentially giving you the ability to bet on yourself. Can you sell at least $100 in ebooks, or at least profit $100 in ebooks over the course of a year? If so, $99 would make sense, especially since everything after that $99 is gravy. It's money in your pocket. Same thing goes with paperback. $2.99. Okay, can I sell that much paperbacks through the specific avenue? And, I'll give you that in my final thoughts, talk a little bit more about that, but it does make sense if you want to make a gamble on yourself. Now, let's go ahead and talk distribution. Now, it is really tough to kind of track these things down for one of these platforms. I'll tell you what platform it wasn't complicated for was Streetlib. They reach 50 online retailers, digital libraries, and subscription apps reaching over 250 outlets and over 50,000 consumer points worldwide. Now, I tried to do some deeper digging, and I found like they have an entire page devoted to all of the different avenues that they distribute to. All that to say this, that some of those thousands upon thousands of consumer points that they're referring to typically goes to another aggregate resource of some sort that publishes it further out for you. So at least know that you have that. Now, all the other major platforms are pretty much included. So meaning that you get Amazon and you get the big four Amazon alternatives. Now, this is what's unique on Streetlib. Okay. Streetlib has all of the Amazon alternatives in Apple, Barnes & Noble Press, Kobo, or Kobo Writing Life, and Google Play Books. Now, the only other platform that does that is Publish Drive right now, that has access to Google Play Books. But I want to let you know, though, if you ever see Google Play Books for distribution for any of those avenues, here's the wonky thing. You still have to set up a Google Play Books account, and then you give administrator access to the self-publishing platform. So essentially, they go into your dashboard and publish on your behalf inside there. Not my favorite way of doing things, because my thought is like I could probably just upload directly to Google Play Books. So there is that. Now, Tableau. This is where it gets tough when it came to distribution. This is all I could find on their site. When it came to specific areas, I couldn't find out anymore. They reach 40,000 bookstores and 30,000 libraries in Tableau's network, quote unquote. This includes Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and thousands of physical brick and mortar stores. Now, this sounds fantastic, but I can't come to the table here and give you the proper information that I really wanted to, because I really couldn't find, like, okay, what's the avenues beyond those ones? It's just kind of a generic, yeah, that's where we go to. Let's talk about ebooks. All right, they both distribute ebooks. The royalty structure kind of looks like this. Streetlib gives you 60% of net profits. Now, I didn't say gross profits. I said net profits. This means, again, they're an aggregate publisher. They send it out to these different platforms. Now, each of those platforms are going to take their percentage of each sale on their platform. So let's say that we distributed through Streetlib to Amazon, and they do a 70-30 split for ebooks. So that 70% comes on over there, and you collect 60% of those profits, and the other 40% goes on over towards Streetlib for different administrative type things and stuff. But either way, 60% net profits, not bad. Now, Tableau is a little different. You get 100% net profits. Now, there's a little asterisk next to it because we already discussed this before. The annual subscription fees. Now, let's be clear though. Again, it's net profits. Now, so they kind of generalized it because they have such a wide reach, and I don't know where they're going to, but either way, they're saying that ebooks, there's a 30% commission paid to the specific platform that sells your book, your ebook. Now, for paperback, it's a 40% commission. So just bear that in mind. Even though Tableau is not taking anything, there's still, again, a fee that's happening because there is somebody else distributing it and getting the sale. All right, let's discuss the perks, though, when it comes to ebooks. Now, Streetlib has a word processing and book formatting tool that's called Streetlib Write, and actually, they're hard at work trying to make it better. I know I just released some information about that this past week in our news segment, but all that to say this, it's really nice to have something like that, and it's free to use. And speaking of free to use, Tableau essentially has almost the same exact thing in something called Bookmaker. That they have templates that you can do, including traditional, classic, contemporary, modern, memoir, and poetry. Think something like Drafted Digital's interior formatting software is essentially what that is. Now, let's shift on over into print books. Now, the types that they have include black and white and full color for both of them. Just get that on out the way. Streetlib, though, only has paperback. There's no hardcover. There's no hardcover with jacket. Now, if you read the fine print, which I did as well, there's actually a processing cost of 49 euros for your print book. Wow. Okay, so this is very similar to something like, say, Ingram Spark does, that there is a $49 upload fee of some sort. And I imagine this is something that helps mitigate a ton of staff hours and work, and want to make sure that when an author comes to publish on their platform, that they're not updating their manuscript every other day and eating up staff hours that could otherwise be put somewhere else. So it makes sense to have something like this. Am I happy in having that? No. And especially when you kind of hear a little bit more about their royalty structure, which is, yeah, it's a little questionable in my opinion. Tableau, though, has paperback, hardcover with dust jacket. Not bad, right? Trim sizes. Streetlib has 12 trim sizes you can choose from. Tableau has 11 trim sizes. Now, it was hard to track down this info initially, and a lot of Tableau was super, super hard to find their stuff. I'm not sure why it's so inaccessible, but it was tough nonetheless. It could probably be they're just not properly search engine optimized on their website. I tried looking through their help page. Streetlib, super, super simple to find all the facts. It was easy to track that stuff down. In fact, I had probably more information than I needed at the specific point. Distribution, though, when it comes to the print books. Now, Streetlib, in their words, they said you can manage your stock independently by ordering author copies sent to an address in Europe, or you can sell your book on Amazon, Streetlib stores, ibs.it, a couple other websites. I'm sorry, it's in Italian. That's not my forte. And other stores as they add them. Now, Tableau, just going to have to put my hands up. I don't know. They don't, other than their one tagline at the very beginning, and I just shared with you guys about all their distribution, I don't know. And it seems like that should be a lot more available, more readily available, especially if they want more authors to come on their platform, because they want to know, like, where am I sending it to? And do I have the ability to deselect certain distribution avenues? Because that's the thing, is maybe someone wants to use Tableau because it has unique reach that you couldn't otherwise get in the other accounts. So going back, we're defaulting back to the sweeping generalization that they gave about their distribution, which it probably includes ebooks and print books. Most times, ebooks won't land in the same spot as print books and vice versa. Now, here's the royalties. The royalties it gets a little bit sketchy here. And I appreciate Streetlib for all that they're doing. Obviously, they're offering an alternative to something like, say, Drafted Digital print. Let's say that you don't want to use Drafted Digital's print, or you don't want to use Amazon KDP or Ingram Spark. Streetlib could probably be a viable resource. But here's the deal. The royalties 39% minus print fees. If you measure that to KDP print offers 60% minus print fees. And then for expanded distribution through KDP, that's 40% minus print fees. Heck, you can even go to where somewhere like an Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark has it to where you can publish and you can vary between 45% to as much as 55%, 65%. So 45% to 65% for royalties, because you can change that specific payout. They say that 51% goes to the store that sells your print book. Okay. Then 10% goes to Streetlib. So then you're left with that 39% minus the additional print fees. So I think that they're probably still testing things out, I imagine. It's probably like Drafted Digital having their print in beta, but Streetlib just said, screw it, we're not going to do beta. We're just going to go right ahead and shoot it on out. If you're looking for additional distribution and some other options, then it could probably be for you. Now, Tableau, it's 100% minus print fees. Now, each one of those platforms, of course, remember, it's going to be net profits. All that stuff comes on in, but you should not see Tableau taking any of that money out, because that's why you pay to distribute on their platform. Let's talk about audiobooks. Well, Streetlib's the only one that has audiobooks. between these two companies. And they have two options. You can bring your own audiobook or your own narrator, or they mention their own platform. I think it's called Il Narratore Audiolibri as the best partner for the production of high-quality audiobooks. They actually have a specific recommendation there. The distribution goes out to 14 distributors and retailers. Wow, not bad. Now, the royalties are 85% of net profits. Let's compare that to another model through Findaway Voices. Findaway Voices charges 80% of net profits that come on in for your audiobook sales. Now, keep in mind, each audiobook publishing platform is going to pay out in different percentages, and in some instances, it might be even a subscription-based pool that you're pulling from. You're just going to get 85% of those net profits when they come in. The royalty rate varies per platform so wildly that I literally could probably spend the next 2 hours just talking about each one of those. But instead, let's switch on over and talk about payouts. Streetlib is interesting. If you're in the US and Canada, pay attention to this point because it's paid out differently based on the regions outside of that. So in the US and Canada, you get 30 days after the close of the month. That's when you're paid. So long as you meet that $10 threshold, they will pay you out through PayPal and Payoneer. Otherwise, a $30 threshold for bank accounts. They also have something called Sure Remit. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. Most likely, it could probably be a feature out in Italy that I'm just not aware of. But just know that that's available, and that is the option. Anywhere else, though, it's quarterly payments. All right, you're going to end up getting paid out quarterly instead of the 30 days after the close of the month. So just keep that in mind. And of course, the $30 or €30 minimum payment threshold. Now, Tableau. Tableau has a payout schedule that goes 60 to 90 days after the close of the month and 90 to 220 days after the close of a month with bookstores. So pretty interesting information. Wow. We just blazed through a lot of content, a lot of information, but I want to, of course, before we get into my final thoughts, give a really quick plug. You're a fantasy author. You want to grow your readership massively. Then you're going to want to join the Fantasy Author Giveaway. Author registration deadline's on February the 28th. You can go ahead and find out more details when you go over to dalelinks.com/fantasy giveaway. This is part of the whole Book Rescue series, the season 1 finale. So come on, be part of some history making. My final thoughts. Let me start out with Tableau. Tableau is perfect for authors who are willing to take a gamble on themselves or they have a built-in following. So long as you break even with your annual subscription fee, then it's a win, I'd say. But I'm going to tell you why I lean in favor of Streetlib. It's good for newbie authors because it doesn't cost anything, and they only take a percentage of your revenue. And by the way, both platforms don't take your copyright or own your copyright or anything else like that. What I would say is maybe consider using Streetlib. And when you see proof of concept, you start to see some additional payouts. Let's say you're making $99 in ebook sales for one specific ebook, then maybe Tableau could probably be your option because then you're collecting 100% of the revenue that's coming in. Now, their distribution avenues are a little bit different, but it's up to you ultimately in the end because places like Publish Drive and places like Tableau do exist for good reason because it's an alternative. It's something that you can be able to take and use in your self-publishing business. And because, not everybody wants to share their revenue. Some people are like, no, I want as much of the money as possible. Oh, I've got to pay an upfront fee? Count me in. That's fine. Some people feel that way. So I don't want to hear anybody say any kind of disparaging words about Tableau because Tableau is just another alternative and something a little different. Just because it's not revenue share doesn't make it any less. But again, I will lean in favor of Streetlib because they have all 3 versions of the books. Though they don't have hardcover, they've got paperback, and it's a great start. And I can foresee Streetlib starting to really fine-tune that option and give you more options that you can go ahead and distribute. Hopefully hardcover somewhere down the line, and maybe something that's a little bit more than 39% minus print fees as a royalty for your print books. Hey, next week, we are going to be going into another comparison model. This one's going to be a little off the beaten path, but stay with me on this. Gumroad versus PayPal versus Stripe. Are you the type of person who likes to DIY? You like to do it all yourself? Then Gumroad, PayPal, and Stripe are 3 very viable options. We're going to be talking about that next week. Hey, get advanced access to all podcasts when you visit dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast 1 week before the audio content publishes. And by the way, you can start looking forward to both the video and audio podcasts launching an interview every Friday. We have an interview coming up this Friday with the illustrious Mark Coker of Smashwords and the CEO of Drafted Digital, Chris Austin. And it's a very cool, fun chat. You're going to tune in on Fridays. Again, are going to be the interviews with some self-publishing experts and indie authors. Till later, folks, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale. You take care of yourselves out there, all right?